Okay, go for it. Whoops, nothing's going here. How come?
Okay, good
I'm
evening,
unplugged.
everyone.
Wait a minute. I'm unplugged. Somebody unplugged me. Okay, lights, camera, action. Okay, go ahead.
Do I need to sign in?
Very
There's
well.
a clipboard over there.
To welcome everybody here to this evening to our zoning board of adjustment hearing for October 15th, 2013. I'm Chairman Robert Brown. Next to me on the left is Vice Chairman Joe Plessner. Next to him on the end is Marina Sumner. And on to my right, Arthur Demas. Did I get that right?
The mass.
Demas.
Mass, yes.
Thank you. I never do that right, do I? We'll begin tonight, since we have one continuation only. I'd like to review the minutes from September 17th.
Okay, I
We
put
could.
that. I put that at the end so that you could do the case.
Yeah, no,
report.
normally I would, but since Mr. Crouchy is our only
Okay.
case, let's go ahead and review the minutes for case 1306. I'll read those into the record, and you don't have to repeat them verbatim. Guys, just indicate that I've done that, okay?
You're going to read the.
That was a continuation of case 1306 by the applicant James Cropsey seeking a variance from Article 2.3.3, Section K of the zoning ordinance to permit 5 additional banners and to relocate their positions on the building per existing approval conditions for Riverfront Place. The property is located at 322 West Main Street in Tilton, New Hampshire, in downtown district, tax map U6-1. Chairman Brown stated that the board had asked Mr. Cropsey at the last meeting on August 19, 2013 to reconsider the banner design and continue the hearing to September 17th. Mr. Cropsey stated at the last meeting it was determined that there was no proof the original banners were approved, so we were starting from the beginning. Mr. Cropsey presented the board with a color representation of the proposed banner, where they are to be located on the building at Riverfront Place. The design shows the banners, which are smaller than the banner which are currently on the building. Chairman Brown stated that the last meeting we discussed a directory to the building, but you still want the banners. Mr. Cropsey stated the tenants still want to expose the exposure with the banners. These banners will be 30 inches by 60 inches, but looking into a smaller size so they do not interfere with windows. These will be placed on the building lower so the banner could be changed easier when needed. Ms. Yo, who is absent tonight, asked if these banners are being placed over the awning section of the building. Mr. Cropsey said the banners are planned to be placed up to the awning only. Chairman Brown asked for the number of banners Mr. Cropsey is planning. Mr. Cropsey stated he is looking at a total of 14 banners, but looking to start with 6 banners to see how they look. Mr. Cropsey stated he is considering adding a smaller freestanding directory. Mr. Plester questioned the value of having these banners on the building. These banners would not be attractive to a nice old brick building. Each tenant is allowed 20 square feet of signage. Mr. Cropsey stated if he did list all the businesses on a sign, it would be a very large sign. Chairman Brown agreed with Mr. Plessner and does not see the hardship for additional signage. Mr. Brown's concern is that this area is a very busy area. People need to watch the traffic, not signs. Ms. Sumner asked if these banners could be consistent in color and style and color, and would the businesses have different colors and styles. Mr. Cropsey stated the business wanted their own designs. Ms. Yo and Ms. Sumner both suggested the banners should be consistent in color, font, size, and if the business moves out, then the blank space would be filled with a banner for Riverfront Place. They both agreed this is a great old brick building and would not like to see the banner detract from the building. Mr. Plessner asked about the existing banners currently on the building now. Mr. Cropsey stated the current banners will be coming down. Chairman asked the board their thoughts on the hardship criteria for the proposed variance. Chairman Brown does not feel that a hardship exists that would require the additional signage being placed on the building. Ms. Show feels if there is a tenant in the back side of the building, the additional signage would be necessary. Ms. Sumner feels that there is a plaza sign listing all the businesses in the building as well as inside the door there is a directory sign. If someone is looking for a business at Riverfront Place, they can find the building, then look at for who they want to see on the plaza sign. Mr. Plessner states there is no hardship and made a motion to deny the variance. Chairman Brown did not hear a motion, seconded the motion to deny is failed. Ms. Sumner would like to continue this hearing to allow Mr. Cropsey time to prepare a mock-up of the building showing the banners, the size, and the actual banner showing the coloring and the font. Chairman Brown asked the board if they would like to continue the hearing to allow Mr. Cropsey some time to come back with more detail and the sign design and placement on the building. Ms. Sumner made a motion to continue ZBA case 13-06 to October 15th, 2013 at 6 p.m. to allow Mr. Cropsey time to present a visual of the banners and placement on the building. Motion was seconded by Ms. Yo. Vote taken. Motion passed by 5 affirmative votes. There we have it. Have you had an opportunity, folks, to review the remainder of the minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked good to me.
They look good to you?
I went through all of them home on the computer.
Chair will accept the motion at this time to possibly accept.
Here's the motion to accept the minutes as presented tonight.
Thank you, Joe. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, motion passed. Minutes for September 17th were approved. Thank you very much. Now, let me read into the record again where we're going tonight, and we'll let Mr. Cropsey get going here. This is a continuation of ZBA case 13-06. The applicant is James Cropsey, seeking a variance from Article 2.3.3, Section K of the zoning ordinance to permit additional banners and to place the front of the building and to be placed on the front of the building at Riverfront Place. The property is located at 322 West Main Street in Tilton, New Hampshire, in the downtown district. Tax map U6-1. At this time, I will introduce Mr. Jim Cropsey, and you may start, sir.
Very good. I'll get right on to this. I probably should have asked ahead of time for Augusta to put the music up,
Well, once you pull that chair, let chairman go in back and just sit.
as long as I don't knock over the microphone. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably,
Yeah, that would work for
I
us.
have probably less of a chance to knock this one over. Okay, oh, yeah, let's start off with the building. Oop. It was a good idea, I can, if you don't mind holding it hard. You asked for the building to put together. I asked my sign fellow to work on this too, and sort of narrow down what would work, what also might look nice. So these would be the locations and size, moving them down from this, from the roof line here, so that they actually fit into this this black strip, the belt on the building. And he strongly suggested, rather than use white and red or cream and red, that red didn't work out too well, especially if they get the dye batch wrong. It comes out pink or raspberry. So he was strongly suggesting black on white, sort of fill in the belt. This also picks up where it's not in the line of sight where the windows are, so that the banner starts pretty much ahead, above where a person's head height would be in the building, and goes up, down to the next floor, and would then be again would be above and out of the line of sight for most people in the building. If Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain or somebody like that is sitting there at 7 or 8 feet, it's not gonna work as well. But that was the concept. And looking at an 18-inch, we measured these again. Our concern was the interior looking out, that we block view. And if we're going with an 18-inch banner, these are portrayed to be 18 inches by 60 inches. That would leave a letter height of 8 to 9 inches, which would be more than sufficient. And it would be two-sided. He strongly suggested black on white. And this gives you an idea of what it looks like, but not, it's more of the Holiday Inn logo type of thing that he drew up. So, and again, narrowed it down to the numbers. The awning is out, these areas are out, and where there's a light, many of those light, with a light, because it's right where the light would be, those are out as well, as far as locations are concerned.
Is that it?
Well, I haven't counted them.
There's 13 here.
Oh, okay, very good. 13. And that would be the max versus,
Questions?
the board might decide. They would all be standard. He also felt that something like this, again, would be too busy. His wording too would be too busy and would not be in keeping with the building. So this with the black on the white, he felt would blend in the best and take advantage of the belt, the black belt that's already on the building along here. So, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up with this and have you take a look at it and narrow down the choices, because I think we're at something that I think it looks tasteful, and I think it would be a vast improvement from what we originally thought.
Well, one primary question that comes to my mind is, who's supposed to benefit from these?
The tenants.
The tenants already got their name on the primary sign.
Not all of them are going to have.
You're not going to see them from the road. At least not the ones towards the rear.
It probably
You only
would
got
be.
I
either
think
9
you'd
inch
see them,
letters.
I think as you drive by, you'll be seeing them.
I hope not. I
From
hope you're
the-
watching the traffic, not looking at those signs. I just,
And the people in the park, but that's, like with any sign, it all depends upon who's looking and whether people are actually looking for that business in this location.
Well, thank you very much. I think probably if you, did you have any other comments?
Closer look.
No, I was hoping for a sample
Probably.
example.
blocking it.
Not a picture.
Oh, this
Not
is,
so close.
it would be.
I have
Sorry.
triple contacts.
Okay, okay. So you haven't had a better opportunity. The banner that Barry Arvidson has would be larger than what this would be. He has a 60-inch, but it's the full 30-inch width, as opposed to this would be about a little bit more than half the size of what he has up for an actual banner, if you wanted to sample. This, unfortunately,
Barry Arvidson.
was Barry Arvidson.
Up the road, you mean, from your place?
Yeah, he has one
It's a different
installed.
zone too, that's not a downtown zone.
Across the road's not downtown?
You know, it's mixed.
Oh, okay.
Well, still, he's allowed one banner.
Yes, yeah.
One
4
sign, he
square feet.
doesn't have his other sign there now, he's like replaced it with a banner, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I did not have an opportunity to make up a full size. Okay. I was expecting Vince to do that for me.
Well, I think this gives us a pretty good image of what you got going on.
Okay.
And basically is in compliance with the way the majority of the board members wanted to do it last time, if you were gonna redesign the signs. So, having said that, why don't you relax now and let us discuss this amongst ourselves.
Okay. If
If we have any
other
questions, we'll certainly
Okay.
fire them at you.
Circle back.
Yeah, you can leave that propped against anything. So.
I'm gonna try that. See if I can- No, I don't think anything.
Yeah, you can back it up, so we're okay.
Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
That might work a
Thanks,
little better.
very nice.
Maybe I can raise this up.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a problem with who this is, the fact that they're calling for a variance, who is this actually benefiting? Because I don't see the where tenants having a sign that you can't read normally from the road, and really, from a safety point of view, should you be rubbernecking around looking at the things on there? You already know the business is located in that building, you don't need a sign like this to tell you it's there.
If we look at Article 2.3.1, the purpose of the sign ordinance, there's 4 different paragraphs. And the first paragraph states specifically, the purpose of the signage section is to protect the health, safety, public welfare, achieving the following: control signs which increase the likelihood of accidents by distracting attention or obstructing vision. Preserve and protect property values and civic beauty by not permitting signs of excess size, height, number, visual impact, and undesirable locations. The third point is to establish standards that permit businesses a reasonable and equitable opportunity to advertise, but which avoid excessive intrusion on the visual aesthetics of an area, and to provide signs that are compatible, color and design with their surroundings and appropriate to the types of activities to which they pertain. And then in Article 2.3.10.4, which specifically addresses the downtown district, the goals and standards considered for properties located within the boundaries of the downtown district shall, 1, ensure that the visual impact of all signs shall be consistent with the architectural and historic qualities of the area. Preserve to the extent practical the period architectural details of the facades of the buildings in the district, and promote the general visual attractiveness of the downtown area. So those are the goals that they've expressed for the downtown district. Now, true that this building is physically separated from Main Street itself. I think that's considered West Main Street at that point, is it not?
It's in
Yeah.
the downtown district.
That's what,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's considered West Main Street. But I'm still looking at certain, hi Joyce, still looking at certain aspects of this which would pertain, particularly the safety aspect for people passing by. And of course, Joe has brought up the point that most of these, even as nicely as they've been redone, probably would not be readable from the road unless they were larger in size. Plus, we're looking at hardship criteria, which has been troubling me all throughout these sessions that we've had. And you have to think about just characteristics of the building which distinguish it from others in the area, which make it difficult or impossible to use without a variance. And that isn't the case here. There are no special conditions that distinguish this property really from other properties. And there are no special conditions that exist that would prevent this property from being used in conformance with the ordinance. And before we really consider a variance, we have to satisfy these criteria. Particularly important is a hardship. And that's what I've been having trouble with. I don't see a hardship. Where he has a beautiful architecturally consistent sign out front. I looked at it when I went by the other day. Just at glance, I could see most of the tenants' names clearly on that. If I had to find somebody in that building, I would certainly probably expect, like other professional establishments, to go through the front door and look for a reader board mounted on the wall inside the lobby, and then follow the directions. I do that all the time, you know, and when you go into a medical office or a hospital or whatever, any professional building really. So I'm having a lot of trouble with this. I know you've gone to a great deal of trouble, Jim, to prepare this. It's a concept. Personally, to me, it's an out-of-the-box concept. It's completely different than what you would normally see on a building like this. But I wanted to permit as much consideration of it as possible. That's why we have these continuations, you know. But all throughout this, I've been having trouble with the criteria that we must satisfy for a variance. Because a variance can be appealed by anyone out there who is not satisfied with our decision, if we were to, you know, approve or disapprove. It doesn't have to be appealed by the applicant himself or herself. And then if that progresses to the point where you're going to Superior Court, you've got to be able to justify the decision you made. So we're pretty careful on variances. They're tough. They're not easy. It would be great if we could just, you know, look at this and say, it's pretty neat. It's a new concept. Let's try it. But I don't know if we can do that. Might be able to, with conditions. I don't know. I've got to let the other board members participate in this as well. Those are some of my thoughts, but. How do you feel?
If this is approved, are all the tenants up for doing this? Is everyone totally agreed to have a
No.
banner?
No, not all of them would have banners. Not all of them want banners.
Yeah.
I thought it was a total 100% in the building.
No, I think the concept was to end up with an alternative to the marquee for those people that I can't satisfy with the marquee. As I understand it, the height is maxed on the marquee, and we have maxed the available signage for the size of the building with that marquee. Now, if I'm wrong, I'd like you to tell me that, which essentially means that perhaps there could be another marquee. But again, that might be difficult to put in somewhere on the building or the frontage and have it be understood that this is an additional marquee, or there are other businesses on this directory.
Are you talking about a larger riverfront place sign out front?
Yes. Where
I
we
would,
have the.
I think I would sooner see that personally, or consider it, in order to satisfy
We do have a problem, Bob, with the electrical lines that are there. That's the side where the telephone poles are. We really, my understanding is that.
underground utilities?
Well, there's the electrical lines here.
Yeah.
An idea. We can't, the flagpole is off to the side, is actually taller than the sign. The sign itself is closer to the electrical lines, and I don't think it can be, according to the electrical codes, any higher than what it is now.
Yeah, they require a certain amount of clearance, don't they?
They do. And that's one of the reasons why we're limited to what we can do with the marquee, short of perhaps moving it back and taking out the flagpole as an alternative, getting it away from the electrical lines.
Which would detract from your visibility.
It's, yes.
Keeping in mind though that this type of banner can't be seen anyway from the road, so it's not solving that problem. In other words, your original marquee out front is what, like with any professional building, when everything would be listed on there. Now, you're saying that you can't fit them all, that this is supposed to solve that problem. It doesn't solve that problem.
Well,
No way it would be visible from the road, so they're still not gonna know, other than the fact of there's a reason why they're coming to this building for whatever service or entity that they want to partake in. And they know it's there. They don't need a sign to tell them further, because they already know where they're going. It's not like a shopping center where they're gonna pull in and look for different entities along the way. That's not what you have here. You have a professional type building. And
Beautiful professional.
and you're kind of doing proposing to do something with it that is totally out of the context of what one would do with a professional type building. But you just don't see this. I just don't see to where this is a solution to any problem. I'm sorry, I don't see it. And I'm really troubled by the fact that to approve a variance for something like this is opening up a can of worms. We already have problems in town with enforcing the ordinances as written. And now you're going to approve something, if we were to approve something like this, it's in direct conflict with everything that we've been preaching up till now. So I just,
As far as the limitation of signs, on signs goes, is that what you're referring
yeah, banners hanging out in the front of the building. If somebody wanted to do this coming down Main Street, it's still the same zone, it's the downtown zone, and you're gonna, how would you feel of that? Look rather weird, wouldn't it not? But yet, if you're gonna approve something like this, aren't you kind of opening up
Setting precedent.
the door for something like that? Not necessarily a precedent, but the fact that, as you know, with the way the variances are approved, if one person's doing it and the person next to him wants to do it too, that legally you're almost committed to doing something like that.
Yeah. That's true. Oh,
By the way, have you still got a medical group in that building?
No,
Oh, I didn't think so. Is it still on the awning as it's shown
No.
here? No?
I think I saw, I think I
It says
saw,
Riverfront Place. Oh, this is an old photo. It says that La Pièce, the room, is on there.
Yeah.
what was her name? Robinson?
You know, I wouldn't have any objection if they wanted to,
Kathy Robinson? I'm sorry,
oh,
Dr. Robinson?
Dr. Hare,
Chris, Hare, yes,
Hare.
Susan Hare.
Susanna.
Susan.
yeah. The way they have the medical group there, if they had the names of the different businesses on that awning, that wouldn't, wouldn't see that as an issue. They could do that.
Yeah.
The, if I may, in question to whether or not it would be visible. The existing marquee signs, or sign, the smaller sign slats are, the lettering is 4.5 inches high.
Yeah.
And I did not measure this area here as to the height, but I believe that as far as visibility is concerned, that that's approximately 12 to 18 inches
Yeah.
for that face. So you can see that from the road, it would be visible.
It is visible from the road.
Yeah.
And
So
the
any-
marquee signs are perfectly readable at 4.5 inches too.
They are.
Yes. They have a nice dark background. All right. Anybody else like to comment? You all set, Art? Mhm. Well, going over the five different criteria for a variance, we should consider all of them. In my mind, I've only been able to satisfy one out of the 5. And that would be, I think, number 4. Relative to the values of surrounding properties being diminished, I couldn't see that something like this would do that. I could not justify satisfying the public interest. I don't know if it would be contrary to the public interest or not. I'm pretty sure it would be, though, if we went this way, since the ordinance has been passed by the public, and in its conditions, stating that it is to ensure visual impact is consistent with the architectural and historic qualities of the area. Can't see that it's doing that. So, spirit of the ordinance, same thing. If you're talking about the mood, the intent, the spirit of the ordinance, we're looking at controlling signs. As I said earlier, that might increase the likelihood of accidents. Avoiding excessive intrusion on visual aesthetics. Substantial justice. I don't know if it would do anything to promote the awareness of the tenant's businesses, in addition to what he's already got. Might prove contrary to the safety of the pedestrians and drivers in the area. Then, of course, we get to unnecessary hardship. That's the really tough one. So, I don't know how the rest of you folks feel. We've discussed this. It might be best for Mr. Cropsey to look at lettering his green awning with these names. Maybe he could research a larger marquee out front. Check on the regulations for that with the power company. It's possible to go with an oversized sign. Others have, if it can fit into that area. I don't know.
He could enlarge the awning too.
What, you got something with wings on it there?
Add on to the directory sign onto the sides.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
The one in Laconia is pretty interesting. How the office I used to work at that was similar looking to this.
Mm-hmm.
Beacon Street. Have you been up there?
No.
And they have nice, large signs and a space, and then another one. And they have, I think, one on each side of the entrance.
How many
And they're
shingles like
large.
that do they have? Do you know? How high is it?
It's been a little bit since I've been up there, but
Okay.
there's probably 5 or 6 on each one, something to that effect. And as you're coming around the corner by Prescott's Flower Shop, and that traffic is terrible right in that area, but you can plainly see as you're coming around for whatever you're looking for. If you miss going in that entrance, you just go down the other end.
That would be pretty. What would be the cost involved? Not that it has anything to do with this, but just out of curiosity to create a new marquee sign like that.
To double the sign that we have,
Yeah.
something like that, probably in excess of $50,000.
Really.
The original signage was in excess of $25,000.
It's beautiful, I know. Yeah.
How many tenants fit on the original sign?
I think
Could fit on?
could fit on. Well, I think there's 16 blanks, but some of those blanks could be cut in two. So it's hard to say. I would figure 16 would be the max, plus you have both sides. I would assume that you'd want the same name on one side as you have on the other, but it's possible to put one going in one direction and one going the other direction, and double the number that you have. So it was designed for 16, but probably could get 32 out of it.
And that would more than accommodate what, I can't imagine having 32 separate businesses in there, but I mean,
It's a 36,000 square foot building, and one small section looks like we'll have in about 6,000 square feet that Dr. Hare vacated. We'll have 18 tenants in that 6,000 square feet. So if that happens when we start finishing the lower level, you could see that we could have 36 tenants in the lower level. I just don't know how this is going to develop at this point. And, you know, the smaller people with 100 to 200 square feet, I think, as you mentioned, Joe, their best option is most likely to advertise that they're with the building, because they're not they're the tail of the dog. They can't wag the dog, you know.
There's no way you could do adequate signage for all those.
For every one of them,
Outside.
absolutely. It's
You
not,
have to go with a generic sign and let them
yeah,
be on a directory.
yeah.
It's just too much. Well, listen, I've gone ahead and allowed us to present your findings, your newest presentation, and some discussion back and forth. In all fairness to you, Jim, before we enter into a decision-making process here, I want to give you the option of not going for a decision tonight, because we're missing a member. There's only 4 of us. It requires 3 members to three votes, consistent votes, to approve
3 consistent. Mhm.
or to overturn a decision. So that could or couldn't be fair. You know, if everybody unanimously decided, fine, 4 votes would do it, more than do it, but it could become a problem, an issue. So it's up to you. You know, I will accept your decision on this, whatever it is.
So how would that procedure be, that I would leave these materials with the board, and they would be reviewed by the missing member?
What you could do is basically hold this in abeyance for now, since you've done all this work already, and maybe research other avenues. Going completely away from this flag thing, banner thing, and have a serious look at the existing marquee, or the lettering of your awning, which we discussed earlier, to satisfy some of your larger tenants, and look at different options, and possibly come back when we have a full board.
Okay. Marina, I think, had the suggestion of a signboard with much smaller slats that would be in the
Correct.
The general
Yep.
area. And would that be allowed as of right, or would that be something that we'd again have to ask for a variance for?
We would have to rewrite the variance. It'd have to be a different variance for that, wouldn't it? To modify that marquee?
Well,
existing marquee?
under the ordinance, would that be allowed as of right?
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Now, if I look at the downtown district,
yeah,
yeah,
let's double check that. Good question.
In which case, then perhaps
the other thing we have,
amending the application and coming back with something along those lines might be
Yeah.
more beneficial.
the only thing we have to refer to in this case is the regional commercial down here, the 2310-5, where it gets at the big shopping center type thing.
Yeah, 40 square feet.
In the event of more than one business per complex, each additional business occupying 1,000 square feet or more is entitled to 20 additional square feet. Well, obviously, you're way beyond that when you're talking 20 tenants or better.
Well,
So, and-
they'd have to have more than 1,000 square feet.
Well, I'm
So-
not even including that, I'm just using the
Okay.
other as a guide,
Okay.
that there was no limit on the size of the sign is what I'm getting at.
Right.
So therefore, it would be reasonable to assume that in his particular case, that as long as he had a reasonable sign up there, there was no limit on its size, but it certainly couldn't exceed that. Okay, but I think for businesses that's restricted to 20 square feet to be located on a facade or attached perpendicularly to the facade,
Just talks
but
about
on a
animated.
general marquee, you wouldn't have that kind of, because you'd have the name of the business by itself, so I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable to
Right.
imagine a 1 foot by 10 foot plaque for each business to be on, and have 9-inch letters even on a 1 foot plaque,
Right.
depending.
Oh, for the directory, I was thinking of something much smaller than that.
Yeah, much smaller.
Much,
And
much
small,
smaller.
but I'm saying that it wouldn't be unreasonable, because you could do that and theoretically go up 12, 15 feet, and be able to have 12 or 15 on one vertical, and you can have a V-shaped one which has both, or, and so you could really accommodate quite a few different entities on that type of a sign.
In addition to the Riverfront Place marquee?
No, I'm talking about the marquee.
Oh, you are?
How big is that marquee now, overall size?
I'd have to check my my notes or measurements. I believe that it's 16 feet tall.
That was approved during site plan, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, and then amended when the sign ordinance was amended, I believe.
But you never came before the zoning board for it. It was all done by the planning
It
board?
was done by planning board.
Okay.
I guess what I'm saying is, I don't see where there's any significant limitation on the size being large enough to accommodate the businesses that are there. It's reasonable. Obviously, if you have 20 businesses in there, you could have 20 people on the sign, and reasonable size of lettering and stuff to accommodate a marquee would not restrict you to the overall size of the sign. Now, granted, you can't put a billboard out there. That would not be reasonable.
Right. Oh, thank you, Bill.
I'm not sure which one. This was too bad.
Uh,
Oh, there
here.
he goes, right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
And I
Sorry.
think the dimensions are on that too.
Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have a cupola on top.
No, it doesn't have that, does it?
No, no.
Doesn't have any, oh, that's right, it just has the riverfront places.
Right, right. And I think that you take that out and you can raise it up. There may be a few more slats than are pictured
Yeah,
because the sign ended up higher.
Okay,
yeah.
The overall height, that's the max height with the electrical lines issues. Whatever that height is, it's on there. There should be dimensions.
He's got 'em.
my God, but I can't read them. Maybe 16 plus or
16 feet.
minus?
Yeah,
16 plus or minus, I
Yeah.
think that's what that's,
plus or minus.
16.0 plus or minus.
Yeah, that was to the top of his Riverfront Place sign.
Right.
And
That's
then
what-
he moved it up because he took the
Well,
roof.
the Riverfront Place sign ended up where that roof was.
Yeah. Which would have brought him up another closer to 20 feet,
Oh, no,
no?
no.
This 16 feet does not include the roof,
Oh,
Oh, it does not include the
no,
roof.
not according to the drawing.
no, the roof was in excess of that. So you would have gained another couple of feet or so.
I don't think the roof was approved,
No?
or could have been built. That seems to be the correct number of slats too.
Yeah, looks like it.
I think that whether it was the PSNH or the original board
Mhm.
approving it, shot down the roof for whatever reason.
Are you saying that one of these folders,
It
Gus?
may have some
Those
more,
were the folders from
Site
the
plan.
site plan, so.
may have some additional
No,
information in there.
He's saying got an approval, that wouldn't be the planning board that would be giving the approval.
For what, the sign?
Yeah. The planning board's responsibility would be to tell him that the sign, if it was possible, that the sign was oversized, that they would
They
have
would
to go
have to
see the
come to
zoning
us.
board.
Well, let me go see if there's anything you
This planning board. New sign dimension to be in compliance with the zoning code. It's back in 2000.
Oh, you've got it. That's the folder that I was thinking about, I've read before. And that's about all you're gonna find there, as I recall. The ordinance was different then.
Yeah.
Nothing to see there.
Thanks, Gus.
I think that the roof was considered in excess of the height allowed for the sign. It was
Uh-huh.
not, it was considered extra.
That's it.
Personally, I would rather us be deciding as to whether we could add another set of these over here. That would be the correct approach to take for this kind of a situation.
I think so too. I'd like to see that as
It'd make a
well.
lot more sense.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to put something on the awning, on the gold lettering type thing, that's, I don't think we would have any concern with that. You could just do that, you're allowed to have the awning there.
Yeah, any lettering out there is gonna be well below the 10% limit anyways,
Oh, sure, yeah.
for the facade.
But it's also in taste with the building,
Absolutely,
you know.
yeah, it's gorgeous. Let's see if we can find anything definitive on that.
Well, because it's a unique concept in the downtown district, because
Well, he's, like I said, he's not on Main Street. You know, his building is unique in it.
but the zone is still downtown.
Exactly, yeah. It's zoned for downtown, but it's a standalone building by itself, which allows a different type of freedom of signage to me. Where he's got his own property there and everything else, it's completely different than if he was right on Main Street.
Yes, except for the fact of what you would approve or disapprove in regard to this, affects the other businesses in downtown district.
Oh, sure, Yeah.
That's my whole point with that is,
Oh, absolutely.
are we
yeah.
opening up a can of worms
Yeah,
here?
yeah, I know, I
And,
know.
we're, I'm troubled by where the whole idea can go.
Okay, alterations on non-conforming signs, which he basically has there, correct?
Well, why isn't it a conforming sign? What makes it non-conforming? The only thing is 20 square feet. That is in under the downtown district.
Yeah,
That's the only number that's there.
it's the only number, yeah. And that, and it's assumed that that would be perpendicular to the building, because that's the way those buildings are down there. All their signs are perpendicular.
So, I mean, if you look at 20 square feet, you can't say this whole building is only allowed 20 square feet, so
Absolutely.
you've got to fairly reasonably go on the basis that the 20 square feet would be per tenant. But what it doesn't
In his
address, is when you've got a building of this magnitude and size, and you've got tenants occupying 200 or 300 square feet, that's just, a little bit bigger than a kitchen.
Smaller
You
than
can't-
some
You
kitchens.
can't figure that they would be entitled to 20 square feet when somebody else would be in there and have 10,000 square feet, and they still only be entitled to 20 square feet.
I concur, Joe.
I mean,
For you too.
which brings me back to the whole thing, if everybody's on the marquee, it's fair for everybody. Let the marquee get big enough to accommodate additional number of tenants, and,
So therein could lie, oh yeah, okay, back to the marquee only. Yeah. And that does get into the hardship area, in a sense, when you think about it,
to allow the marquee to be bigger.
yeah.
Is that what you're getting at? Is
Yeah.
that where you're going?
And the fact that this building is different
Mhm.
in and of itself than those on Main Street.
Correct.
Um,
And unlike these proposed things, you can see them from the road.
Yeah.
You can see what's
Oh, yeah,
there.
you could see it. Yeah.
These here, you're not gonna see from the road, at least not at this end. So, I mean, in effect, you're really not doing anything. They're just there
Well,
until you pull into the lot. But if you pull into the lot, you already know what business you're going into. It's not like you're driving by and all of a sudden see an unusual thing, I'm gonna swing on in. I see this more as destination businesses, if you will, and people know where they're going to begin with. But once you tell them it's in the Riverfront Place, they know the building. And you've got a great big thing that says Riverfront Place on it. From there, they just look at the marquee, either on the outside or on the inside, and locate where that particular business is within the building.
understood. Going back to the marquee though, and adding on to either side, I'd have to do some research to find out whether or not anything can be added towards the roadside, because I think, again, it falls underneath
Might be DOT.
the DOT and the PSNH,
Sure.
that would be underneath the power lines. And even though we might own the property, DOT may not allow any,
You still have a right-of-way issues.
that's the right of way issue. Now you're looking at a curve and blocking the curve. I've talked to DOT. I don't know that I can add closer to the road. I think it might be possible to go the other way.
Why can't you add on like,
That's what he's
That's
talking
what I was
about.
getting at,
Yeah.
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 if you fill up neat, call this company,
Well, that's what he's-
Add the little bit, you know,
Mhm.
little slats.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I can go.
He doesn't know if he
Closer to
can
the
get into the right of way any
Yeah.
further, that's all.
I mean, you're only gonna do one slat, right?
Anyway, I think that's really where we should be going. This is not solving any problem at all.
Okay, so how do we do this? How do we make the transition from this to expanding the marquee? Without denying this and then starting all over with a new appeal? Can't be done.
Well, inasmuch as the appeal as advertised to the public,
Yeah.
Well, if I may, Bob, I think that there is, it's a design issue with the marquee to go back to the planning board rather than coming to the ZBA.
I was gonna ask you about that, yeah.
I think that's where it probably ends up. Augusta would probably know better than I do.
Yeah, the planning board may be the avenue to go and let them kind of look in and see if they would allow the increase, and if they don't, then he would have to seek a variance.
well, the position, I guess, to take with the planning board, you're correct. That would be a logical direction to go, would be to point out that the only thing in the ordinance is 20 square feet. And although I'm not necessarily asking for 20 square feet, in order to accommodate these additional tenants, I need a larger sign, and your ordinance, meaning our ordinance, does not specifically address this type of situation. So here's what I propose. And then give them a new drawing as to what they want. And,
Because, you know, your business, your building and structure itself is unique in its standalone status. And so, you know, since you have all these tenants, you know, some special consideration is due there.
And some of what I was trying to do by applying for the variance in the first place was that Al was not, Mr. LaPlante was not solid in his interpretation of what would be allowed and what would not be allowed.
Right.
Recognizing that, you know, I'm allowed, let's say, 20 square feet per tenant.
Yep.
In looking at this building.
Yeah.
But yet some of them, or maybe a lot of them, are going to be under 1,000 square feet and therefore really don't deserve anything.
which isn't fair to tenants, so I mean.
Which, that falls back on what the tenants have been requesting from me, which is that we want some exposure.
Well, I would say that your response to them, other than this kind of a building, and you can be on the marquee, that your exposure should come from your own advertising, because you're a business. You're saying that to them. I was a small business myself for a while, and you have to take on your own responsibility for your exposure. And unfortunately, too many businesses try and make a big issue out of the sign being that which determines whether they get business or not. But as we've all seen, some businesses really don't use common sense when it comes to signage. They'll go way overboard, thinking that that's the solution to all their their ills, and it is not. It's either you've got to charge more reasonable prices, or have something in there that people want. I mean, there's other issues that get involved.
Or go in for a personality adjustment.
Well, I didn't go there.
Or
but
be unique and.
You did.
And it's something in demand that's unique, like the yoga place. Got a lot of publicity recently, you know, through the media.
Yeah.
Everybody in town obviously knows they're there. And I see you've used them as an example on one of your signs. So, you know, and they have something that's unique and special. So they'll probably thrive.
I expect so. Plus, they're also just over 1,000 square feet. So, in theory, they're allowed more signage. It's the smaller ones that are probably up to 500 square feet that don't quite make my criteria when I started doing this, of having 500 square feet or more, and you get a slat. So, I mean, that's my own determination when I realized that I did not have enough space to accommodate everybody.
The point you just said there, that you'd have to have 500 square feet or more in order to have a plat. And what you said?
Yes.
So you yourself are setting a limitation on the
Yeah.
fact that if you're gonna be a tiny little entity, well, we're not gonna, I mean, you could alter the size, say, well, okay, you get half-size plat if you want, and you can be on there with another 500 square foot business, and make that apply. But that would be your call, as you're the owner and manager of the building.
Understood. And that's where I went when I realized I did not have enough space, and prior to coming before you and asking for some alternative and additional consideration and an interpretation of what the code actually is.
Well, the way I see it, you have options here tonight of withdrawing this variance totally and taking it off the board.
How can you do that? We've already spent 3 meetings talking about it. Don't we have to deal with the issue?
We could, yeah, that's up to him.
Well, I guess, no, take that back, yeah, I guess you could withdraw the
course you
whole,
could.
yeah, you could, okay, yes.
He can withdraw,
He could just decide that he wanted to withdraw and follow a different route,
or,
yeah.
you know, we could table it for later on, I suppose. Or he could ask us to go ahead and either vote on it or not vote on it, since we don't have a full board.
Well, that would be your call.
Well, I think my call would be to wait for a full board. I appreciated all the input that you've had in this, going through and experimenting with a couple of different options. Has certainly helped to clarify what would be good and what would not be good.
Yeah, we appreciate your patience too.
So, you know, anything that would be more successful for us, you know, would be something that I'd want to pursue. So, more heads are better than one.
5 hits are better than
Sometimes.
4. 5 hits are better than 4.
5 heads are better than 4. Everyone's had some, as I see it, has had good input on what this is, and in narrowing it down. And even if we are approved or denied, I think that the record will show for any tenant that complains, they can read the record and they can see that, you know, we looked at a lot of different avenues, and it was not feasible or suitable.
Well, you indicated earlier that you would like to go back to the planning board.
If we were going to be dealing with the marquee situation, I think that that's probably where I'd have to
And
go.
so that's what you want us to decide, that either this is good or it's not good, go back to the marquee?
Either the banners would be allowed under the 20 square feet per thing attached perpendicular or horizontal to the building. I don't.
You wouldn't need our approval for that.
Well, I want to have something that is more uniform and create my own code for the building, so that it meets town's code and gives me a little bit more control over what the tenants would install.
I see.
So, which is why I've said all along, I appreciate your forbearance and Al's forbearance in ordering all the banners to be removed when we don't have a plan in place of what to do.
Right. Okay,
So I guess would it be next month that would be continued to?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, and hopefully that will be the final continuation.
November 19th. You gonna make a motion to continue, or?
Well, I wanted to discuss it with the other folks here.
Okay.
Well, do we have an option? You gave him,
Yeah, what's
you gave him the options, he elected to
Continue,
continue, so,
yeah.
you know,
Okay.
you or I can make a motion to continue,
Yeah.
and that'll be all.
To December, what?
19th.
Oh, November, I think.
I mean, November.
November 19th. Yeah.
We don't meet in
We
December at
don't meet in
all.
December. Very well. So moved in that we continue to date and time certain on November 19th at what, 6 o'clock?
Yep,
Do you have anything else going?
not yet.
Is it fair to say that there are certain no time problems with this whole thing? I mean, you're pursuing a certain avenue, so
Yeah.
however much time it takes is how much time it takes, is that correct?
Yes,
Not that we can-
I don't know that they're gonna be easy to get up in the winter, but I would imagine that it'd be at least a month plus for fabrication, so, you know, if I didn't know now, I probably would be hard pressed to get them up in December for Christmas, for the retailers. And failing that, I'd probably be looking at March or April anyway, in all honesty, because now you're looking at ice.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking for an idea of what my logistics are, that would be the case. And, you know, an approval or denial is something that I then take to the tenants. I'm sort of the tenants association right now. I've been looking to get somebody else to be head of the tenants association other than myself as a landlord. So perhaps one of the other tenants will take the ball and move forward with it.
As manager?
Right, as a like a manager for this type of thing.
Okay, so the motion is out there to continue to November 19th, 6 o'clock. I guess we'll look for a second.
I'll second.
And discussion-wise, what will you be pursuing in the interim between now and then?
Well, I'll make a determination on the marquee of whether or not it can be added to. For instance, if it can't be done,
Okay.
then it's, in my opinion, it starts to look more like a hardship that we're getting into. Nothing can be done with it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll need to know that.
And you'll need to know that,
We'll
and
need
I
to know that.
think that it's good for me to know that. If it isn't a hardship, then, and the ordinance for the signage is changed, then perhaps we can have something that's bigger and better. And,
Okay. That sound reasonable?
Mhm.
Okay. Very well, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
All
for
in
your time.
favor?
I guess.
Aye. Okay.
Thanks again for your time.
Okay,
Yeah.
Would you like to hold on to this?
I don't have any need to review.
No, I think you keep it.
So I'll just bring it back.
John
I'll bring
has
it
the
back next
idea.
time.
Yeah, it's probably get lost
hold
here.
on.
Because,
Yeah.
we have one missing.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, she should be here with us. Unless we write it down, a strange disease.
I hope it isn't contagious.
No,
Me too.
It's just that normal cold thing going on.
Oh, I know. It's nasty.
I sound worse than what I feel.
Thank you.
I just couldn't talk.
All right, Jim.
Good night, Jim, thanks. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Now, we've already processed the minutes, so we don't have anything else to go with.
Old business, is there anything in the folder?
No, she didn't have anything that I recall in here.
You got any additional business we have to attend to?
Nope, no correspondence, no nothing.
Okay.
Well, thanks, everybody. I don't know, this is one of the weirdest cases I've ever processed. It's just amazing.
Well, it's unfortunate that this type of situation.
Is that off?
No, it's not. So we are adjourning?
Oh,
Both have to be.
Motion to adjourn or?
Motion to adjourn, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
second.
Okay, 7:20, okay.
Uh,
Hang on.
Mhm.